What is up, YouTube? So today I'm going to be cleaning and pressing these two books. I got a Amazing Spider-Man 134 and a 135. I looked at these when I got them. I thought they were in pretty nice shape. And what I mean by that is like 6.0 or better. I mean, not Silver Age, but mid-Bronze Age books, and better shape than I thought they would be. So let me get these out of the bags and let's take a better look at them. Okay, so one at a time. This is 134, and you can see there's a color breaking tick there. Little one, little one, little one. Cover is nice and glossy. A little bit of waviness there, nothing crazy. It's actually pretty nice. It's pretty flat, no crazy imperfections. Back cover, a little bit of soiling, nothing terrible. So I would say my guess on this book was pretty close to what I originally thought. I think it's like a 6.0 as it sits. 135. This has a couple ticks also, but they're not as bad, even though it does have a black cover. This one I think is a little nicer, except it does have that smush in the corner. Let me see if I can get it in the light. See it? Which is going to not be impossible to fix, but a little bit of a pain. Looks like it was dropped in it. This one's a little bit cleaner too. The back cover is not as much soiling, tiny bit. So this one I think might actually grade a slightly better, depending on what these ticks look like after I steam and press it. This could be a 7.0 range, but we'll see. So let's start with the first one, 134. I want to work on cleaning up that back cover a little bit. All right, so I got my normal tools. I have my eraser pen, my absorbing sponge, my cotton rounds. This time I busted out the big guns, which is the little gun, the fine eraser, because it's a little tough to get into some of the white areas that have black next to them. So better to go with a finer eraser. And then on Liberty Hill comics, I seen him use the eraser crumbs, so I got the document cleaning pad. So shout out to him. He's also nominated for a CBC award. Does some really nice stuff. Videos are super well edited too. So if you're into cleaning and pressing, shoot over to Liberty Hill, check out some of the stuff and some of the techniques he has. Definitely a little higher level than what I'm doing, but doesn't mean what I'm doing is wrong. So check out his channel. That's where I kind of got the idea for these from. I've seen people do it before, but I never actually tried it myself. I know it does help. And if you notice, I'm not wearing my glove today because I don't want to get any of that static. So, but let's get started by, I want to hit this with the eraser pen and kind of take it from there. All right, let's make sure it's clean, which is not, in my opinion. So as I say in all my videos, get that sucker clean before you work on a book. And even maybe midway, if you see it getting dark, get that eraser clean. So anyway, I'm going to put this in fast forward too, because you guys don't want to watch me erase this entire back cover. All right, so I went over it with the eraser. I'm just going to wipe it down quickly with the cotton round, get any residue off. even though I am going to be using the eraser crumbs, they're clean and they're good eraser crumbs. They're not old, dirty, crappy ones. And if you saw it and fast forward while I was doing that last part, there's a little tiny rip right at the bottom of this sucker right there, but that's what it is. So I used to use one of these when I had drafting class in high school, and if you squeeze this enough, crumbs just kind of fall out of them. They used to say to just kind of bounce it, and so if you can see on this guy right here, you can see the crumbs falling all over him. And that's what you want. I never use these as an eraser themselves because it just gets crappy and cruddy and dark, and that's not what you want. You kind of want these to rub. Look how much I got out already, quite a bit. So you don't want to do too much, but you don't want to do too little either. So you kind of want a good flow of this. I haven't used these in, God, man, I'm gonna date myself, 30 years. So the trick to this is just that. You're just massaging them lightly, letting them do what they're designed to do. Just pick up soiling. And in Liberty Hill's video, at the end, he actually compared his used crumbs with his with new crumbs versus the used crumbs, and you could actually see the color difference, how these started to turn like slightly gray, and when they come out they're like, you know, yellow. It's like Parmesan cheese. So I'm gonna neatly dump those there, and get my handy dandy Taco Bell gift card. Which probably isn't the best thing to do because it's too hard for these soft crumbs. So I'm gonna use the cotton round and get it over. So you guys might not be able to see it, but that back cover actually does look better. It looks cleaner. It doesn't look so soiled. This was the more soiled of the two. So I am pretty happy with that so far. But before I go any further, let me clean up this mess. Just wiping it down one more time because I still feel like there's a little bit of crumbs on here. I did change the paper towel already too. So, all right. So for the front, not going to do much. This is a fine precision, they call it, precision eraser, which got a really, really tiny head. Kind of let you get in there in between some of these letters and some smaller areas, because you don't want to really use an eraser on a colored surface, only white. I know if you watch my videos, you've probably heard me say that 100 times, but if you're new, you haven't. And eraser pens are the best thing in the world for comic books, in my opinion. I remember when I first started doing this, I got like just a big glob kneaded eraser, and I'm like, this sucks. I'm like, how do these guys do this? And then I found the eraser pens and made my life that much easier. Like I said, the front's pretty clean, but why risk it? Alright, so I think I got this book relatively clean. Let's have a little color breaking thing on the bottom there. This is the one that I said is probably like 6.0. The more I'm looking at it, I'm gonna go probably 5.55. But in my opinion, it's still a nice shaped book. It's not gonna come back like a 3.0 or anything like that. You can kind of see all that dirt that just came off this one book. Okay, so now I'm going to hit this with some humidity. I know a lot of guys like using a humidity bath, but I just don't have that much time to sit there and wait for my book to soak up humidity. Do I think it's better? Absolutely, because it gets into all the pages and soaks up differently. With a steamer, I'm kind of forcing the humidity in the areas where I want it, just so I can timely steam this book, get it in the press, and see the results a little quicker. So, not knocking that method, it's time consuming. So, I always start with the backer board at the centerfold. There's been people that commented on my videos and says, why do I do that? That's the way I originally learned when I started doing this, started watching people. Those staples take up a space, right? They take up a space in the book. And if you don't put this backer board in, there's nothing to compensate that space when you're pressing it. And if you don't compensate for that space, you're going to smush that spine over that staple and you're going to get spine stress that you don't want. So I always put one at the centerfold. When I first started doing it, I did it under the book, on top of the book, yada yada. I don't do that anymore because I have a metal plate on the bottom. So it's not right on top of that cushion. And then the top of it's metal, so it's going to be hard and it's not going anywhere. So let's get this under some steam. Okay. All right, so I started creating my sandwich. I got a silicone parchment paper on my metal plate. I got one in the back side of the cover, one on the inside of the cover, and one on top. And now let's go over to the press. So get nice and centered. It's okay if this metal plate sticks out as long as the comic's in there flat. A little more pressure than that. And I have this set to 160 because it's a pulp book. I'm going to leave this in there for 6 minutes or so, and then I'm going to shut it off, let it cool down for 3 hours, and take it out and see what it looks like. But in the meantime, I want to start working on that issue 135. And always clean your work surface in between books, because you never know what you left behind. And I can already feel some of those eraser crumbs. So let me wipe this down before we get started. All right, so 135. I don't know which book is cooler, man, 134, 135. I personally think 134 is, but a lot of people will argue because second full Punisher. Yeah, this back is much nicer than the other one. So I'm gonna hit this with the eraser first, and then I'll do the crumbs again. So I'm not gonna record the eraser part, so I'll be back in a sec. All right, time for some eraser crumbs. Let's open the thing here. this up. All right, there we go. Another cotton round. Let's go over this one more time before I flip it over. All right, the front of this book looks pretty clean, but I'll go over it real quick anyway, just in case. All right, so I didn't want to continue steaming this one until I took the other book out because I only have one press. But I did get the backer board at the center. And here is my 134. So, looks pretty damn good. That is the front. That is the back. I said it does have that little tiny rip right there, but a very nice looking book. So let's get on to steaming this one now. Okay, just remember this one had that issue with the corner. The backer boards are in. Silicone parchment paper. Now over to the press. All right, same process, 160 degrees, 6 minutes or so, and then let it stay in there and cool down. All right, so the main thing I wanted to try to fix on this book really was that bottom corner. It's better. You still see there's a spine tick that started that curve of a bend. Otherwise, the book looks really nice. A couple ticks. That cover is pretty nice. You know, a little soiling. Nothing crazy. So, these two books will be going out for grading at some point in the near future. It won't be like tomorrow or anything like that, but I'm curious to see what these come back, because I do think they're higher than mid-grade books, and they're awesome books, both of them. So I hope you liked that video. If you did, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button so you can see more of my content, and I'll see you guys next time.